Hi, my name is Jenelle Cortez, and I'm here on behalf of Full Sail University, going to talk to you about fantasy films. And then the power of imagination started way before we could even talk. Displacing ourselves from reality has been a niche in order to elaborate our stories. In the early 1900s, filmmakers such as Robert Winnell or F.W. Murnau and Hans Richter took an experimental method to special effects. But that was after the first fantasy film created by a French filmmaker, Georges Méliès, who used artificial photography methods and elaborate sets to create fantastic stories such as Le Voyage dans la Lune, A Trip to the Moon, produced in 1902, which is about astronomers that land on the moon and explore the unknown surface to be met by moon aliens. Once the arrival of sound film in 1927 was accompanied by the advancements of special effects, it created new possibilities for cinematic fantasy. During the 1930s, Hollywood indulged in creating more of horror and monster films like the all-time favorites you know till today, Frankenstein and Dracula. During the 1950s, there were fears about the nuclear holocaust. Science fiction had played a big role during that time, which Japanese capitalized on that fear and made Gojira, also known as Godzilla. Some would get sci-fi and fantasy mixed because they tend to go hand in hand. So to differentiate them, sci-fi is an extension of technology we have currently and that has evolved, and a great example would be 1984 Terminator, or the series from 2011 called Black Mirror that implies the pros and cons of extreme advanced technology and how it can affect our lives. And for the fantasy, it is filled with magic, sometimes fairies, myth, and supplanting of realism. A great example of that would be 1984 Never Ending Story, which is about a troubled boy who dives into a wondrous fantasy world through the pages of a mysterious book. As technology progressed, the special effects advanced as well. The sound quality and effects in Technicolor. In 1973 was a year of significance for cinema's first 2D computer images. Computer-generated imagery are special visual effects created using computer software. CGI allowed movements of fictional characters to become more fluid and more imaginative. Recording devices were able to pick up particular sounds, and the advancements of voiceovers executed focused noise to really feel like you were really part of the world. And for example, Superman's cape and footsteps are actually made in another studio. By 1980, prominent Disney films had been a hallmark for combining music and fantasy themes. Classics like Pinocchio, Snow White, Shrek, and The Little Mermaid were all part of that enjoyment of films. Fantasy films was able to make us feel like there is something hopeful and magic about the great beyond. It continues to show our interest even during the millennium. Fantasy films was able to make us feel like there is something hopeful and magical about the great beyond. It continues to show our interest every year by the millions. In 1996, Space Jam collected $85 million. In 1997, Jurassic Park also executed $229 million. Harry Potter received $300 million. Avatar in 2010 obtained $408 million. The Avengers acquired a whopping $623 million. The reason that fantasy is so popular for both adults and children alike is that they offer escapism from work or school to a different level. They combine imagination and it tends to bring everyone together.